One more drink, one more drink. You know in the morning for sure we gon' stink. One more round, one more round. It's 5 a.m., you pricks, the barkeep frowned. This is what we do, catch up for a few. We'll riff and talk some shit and then we'll sleep till 2. Talk some shit and then we'll sleep till 2.
Woo! Yeah, look, you look like a little ski bunny out there.
I had to turn the heat off in order to not interfere with the audio here. So I feel like a ski bunny.
Yeah, you look cute. I like the puffer. Is that a New York bar you got there?
It's a Subway Inn is behind me. It's an old New York classic. It's a real dive. Many stories there as a youngin'. Well, it was originally on 59th and Lex, right by the subway stop, but it's now, I think it's on like York or something. They had to move it.
Oh wow.
We had a lot of weird nights in here. And
Yeah.
days, if you get my drift.
Well, when you go that far east in Manhattan, shit gets dark, like the street lights aren't on and the river's right there. I used to make love to a woman who lived on York, and it felt like another borough. It's so different over there.
It was cool because we'd get weird stories. I mean, there were weird nights. I remember one time the bartender just grabbed a friend of mine and just stuck his tongue down his throat. And it wasn't even like a sexual thing. It was like, I own you.
Whoa.
It was that type of vibe where we were like, holy shit. All right.
Yes.
He worked there and he was a customer and he was still like, I don't give a shit about you.
Wait, it was a lady?
No, it was a guy, 2 men.
What? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Damn, that's crazy. I own you. I don't know. That's a new one for me.
It was a power move. There was like a lot of power shit, like where we'd be hammered and they'd be like, you like, and they'd be like, all right, free shot. I'm like, oh, I'll do whiskey. He's like, you don't get to choose. He would just like dump tequila, put in hot sauce, and he'd be like, take it, you pussy. I'd be like, all right.
All right, it's a free drink. I'll take it.
For sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was a lady. And I remember when I was 18, 19, 20, there was a lot of cougary, milfy ladies who were so sexually aggressive that nobody talks about. Like, they would be like, grab my tit, you pussy. And you're like, okay. Like, I guess because they were so repressed with their limp husband or whatever, that they would always, like grab your ass or grab your dick. Go, there's nothing here, bitch. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Susie. You ever have those? Or was that a New Orleans thing?
No.
Okay, like this smoking, raspy voice, bad skin on the neck.
You thought aggressive older woman was strictly like a Creole, like Southern. I
thought it was a voodoo queen.
It's like New Orleans law. It only applies in fucking Louisiana.
Yeah, I get. But man, there was a lot of, and I dug it. I wasn't against it, but it's fucking
hot.
It was a thing. Yeah. Just old birds with like a leather jacket on and bad jeans with like rhinestones on the back, kind of trashy.
I used to have an old bit about a woman in a bar. She goes, I could be your mother. And I was like, I'm pretty sure you're not. My mom doesn't get hammered and dives on Tuesdays. So I think we're safe.
Right. Yeah. So true. I mean, if I saw my mom playing video poker at one of these New Orleans dive bars, I'd kill myself. That's the saddest thing. She's got her own chair. That's my stool, bitch, and she's got the quarters and the cigarette pack, the American spirits next to the gin and tonic.
Video poker is that's like a line. And so it's got to be like a punchline there because it's so perfect. It's such a fucking hilarious image.
Yes.
Or like, exactly. Or what's the other one? Top Golf or whatever. Top Flight or whatever. Top Golf or Big Bug Hunter was the ultimate. That's a fun one though.
That one's actually not sad.
It's kind of cool.
Top Golf was cool too, but there was always the guy who was too good at it, and you're like, you got to get outside. Go play a game of golf. You need some sunlight. Just that. It was too much.
How about, were you ever into like the drinking bar games? Like, would you get into beer pong or like flip cup or any of that shit?
Yeah. I lived in a house with 5 guys in college. So it was like, we had a pool room. So it was just pool table. Then we turned into a beer pong table, a ping pong table. We'd play poker every Monday. We'd play like guts and Kings and all these drinking games. It was a wild. It's funny. Tom McCaffrey has that great joke about like alcohol is the only drug you play games with. No one's ever like crack pong, you know.
It's true. It's something about those games where like I do kind of miss them because they make you feel young again. But then you're like, oh yeah, I don't play this shit at this age for a reason. You're drinking so much beer when you do that shit.
Oh,
it's
dude.
So much. Do you ever do it with hard alcohol?
I've done it before. It's a puke fest. It's always a mistake.
You don't think it's that much. You're like, yeah, well, it's just like a tiny thing. But then you're like, did I just drink 6 shots like that? You know,
exactly.
It's crazy.
Do you? This is next level dirtbag shit. But do you remember Power Hour?
How did that go again?
Every minute for an hour, you take a shot of beer, which you're like, oh, I can do this. And then after like 17 minutes, you're like, oh, the minutes are flying by and just shooting beer. You end up drinking like 12 beers in an hour.
I was never, I was more of like a game guy, like Flip Cup. I wasn't really a Power Hour. Or we do like, if we were watching a show or something, we turn into a game. Like every time he says this, you got to do a shot or whatever. But I wasn't a Power Hour guy, no.
It's bad news. By the way, you mentioned games, drinking games with that. People do that with this show. Somebody told me every time I do this, they drink. What? And every time you said something like baby, that's it, baby, they drink. So that was kind of flattering.
That's awesome. I love that. I love this. And, and then we had a lot of tweets and stuff, people mentioning that like they're sober and they still love the show and that like they appreciated us shouting out sober people because that is hard, especially this year, man. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, we couldn't do it. We're not that strong.
No, God, you're right. It's a strong thing. It really is.
I'll even try. Like, I'm not going to drink this week. And then your friend's like, oh, you want a beer in the fridge? You're like, all right. Like it's that easy to turn me.
It's such a funny thing where like I remember old movies like Casablanca I'd watch growing up and be like, Bogart, that's a man, internalizing his feelings and drinking himself to death in Morocco. That's a real dude,
So true. Yeah. I mean, it was romantic.
It was romantic, but then you get older and dealing with shit is actually more manly. It's more difficult.
Great point. I mean, like Don Draper and Ernest Hemingway, the rocks and the whiskey, it almost looked classy. And yet it's actually fucking a sad, what do you call that? Vice.
Yeah, Hemingway was a man, though. Let's face it. I mean,
man.
He wrote like a man. He was in the war. He was such a manly dude. I mean, holy shit. And he killed himself. It is kind of a manly way to go.
Yeah, with a rifle, by the way.
Damn.
Pretty crazy.
That was one of my first jokes ever. I said, my English teacher said I was going to be like a young Hemingway. And I was like, why? Because I'm a great writer. She goes, no, you're an alcoholic who's going to kill himself. That was one of my first.
That's a great dark joke. David Angelo had that funny joke. He's like, Ernest Hemingway actually wrote in a moleskin. He used moleskin, and he's like, I believe it because every time I pay for one, I see the price. I want to kill myself. He had some great ones. Fun.
David Angelo is hilarious. He lives by me. We took a walk the other day. He's a fun dude.
Oh, nice. Talk about just a comedy character, great writer, weird guy, funny voice, the whole thing.
Man, he's got a joke I love. He goes, I went to private school and kids are always beating me up for my brunch money.
He had another one I love. He goes, yeah, when I was a kid, we were broke. We had a black and white set. So every time the Incredible Hulk got angry, I just thought he turned into an Italian. Because Bruce Banner to Lou Ferrigno. That's an older reference, but perfect joke.
He's so funny.
And then to say Italian, not Italian, Italian is so much funnier.
Yeah, my cousin saw him at a show at UCB, and he was like, "Do you know this guy? He's so funny." And I was like, "Oh yeah." It's like very like up his alley, kind of like weird but very clever. Yeah, he's great joke writer.
Yeah, great. He wrote for Fallon for like 10 minutes. I don't know.
Daily Show now.
And okay, great.
He's like the one like kind of fringe conservative in the Daily Show room, keeping them semi-sane, I guess, and probably driving him nuts, I'm sure.
Oh, dude, he's an angry. I mean, his Twitter alone, I'm like, oh, hope this guy's okay.
His Twitter's great.
I know, I love it.
If you want a great follow, I think he's hilarious on Twitter.
So funny, so fun. I like watching people lose it on Twitter. It's fun when they like get honest.
It is fun, but there are always the people you're like, fuck, don't lose it too much. I want you to have a career.
That's true. That's true. Because it's real easy to pull a Roseanne, pop an Ambien, have a red wine, and say a black joke or whatever it is.
Have you ever done a sleeping pill and then done morning radio the next morning and you say shit where you're like, oh, I fucked up?
Oh, I've definitely been hungover, but I take sleeping pills every night. So
every night you take a sleeping pill?
It's a problem. I gotta come back to life. Yeah, I need to get sleep. I can't. To me, it's the falling asleep. Once I'm asleep, I'm good. I just can't turn it off.
Damn. What kind of sleeping pill do you take?
Well, I went with the melatonin. Then before you know it,
that's not a pill though.
This is just the beginning. I was taking 4, then you take 5, then you're like, well, this is done. Then you start taking CBD oil. Like, oh, this is helping. Then that's not doing anymore. So then I do a Tylenol PM, but then you're like, I don't need the Tylenol. So am I hurting my liver? And after a while, I would do Ambien.
Damn. You
but I kicked
Ambien every night.
I kicked Ambien every night because I was falling asleep like sitting up places. It was really embarrassing. I was pulling like a grandpa.
The problem with me with melatonin is I already have nightmares, and it for some reason makes my nightmares so vivid.
Interesting.
Do you know that's the thing? That's why people do weed, I think, is because it actually will help. I don't know which one is it. Indica, the one that helps you sleep. I think that one helps with nightmares, they say.
Oh, that's fucking bad. Boy, these scientists, man, they really mastered the weed. I know it's a hacky joke now, but it's like so impressive. These strains, this one makes you hungry. This one makes you sleepy. This one makes you less anxious.
Yeah, they have. I mean, it's like, it's crazy where it's come in our lifetime. I mean, I remember like getting into a car to like get weed from a stranger, and like,
yes,
that's fucking weird as a kid to do. And now it's like, soda's got that bit like how they're like sommeliers. It's crazy.
Yeah, they are. That's such a great point. And the funny thing is, these guys are in a lab coat. They're scientists. They're botanists, but they still keep the names funny, which I love. It's like, do you want to get Maui Wowie or Anal Fisher? Or do you want the Squirter? Or do you want, whatever the hell, Bobby Flay? There's always some fun name. They could have
Fisher.
They could have held off on the names, but they hung in there.
Anal Fisher, I think she was on Boy Meets World.
Topanga, huh? Oh, she was hot.
She was hot.
Oh, yeah. Classic. I looked her up not too long ago.
Did you?
Oh, these kids today have no idea what they got with the internet. They can see any child star nude. They got an OnlyFans. They got Google. I mean, back in our day, if she did Playboy once, you were lucky. Terry Hatcher's doing Playboy,
Did she?
Oh, yeah. Jenny McCarthy, Anna Nicole Smith,
Jenny McCarthy, man. I remember that was a good time to be a hot chick because they were like, yeah, we'll give you a comedy show. Like, that's how low the fucking bar was.
Yeah. All you do is pretend to fart or squeeze a tit and you were a comedian if you were a hot chick.
Yeah, she wasn't funny.
No.
MTV really was throwing shit at the wall. They really were like Jenny McCarthy. Occasionally they'd land back in the day.
Right.
Even like singled out back in the day. You're like, oh shit, that was kind of crazy for
I
what
loved
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Young Chris Hardwick, right?
Right.
And Carmen Electra, talk about the 90s.
So hot.
We sound like real boomers right now.
Well, I guess I think we're technically millennials, but I don't feel like a millennial.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, like
it's weird.
My friend he's got this great joke. He's like, man, I used to make fun of millennials, and I gave it a Google search, and he's like, I stopped making fun of him because he is one, and it's so true. Like millennial is 80 on, I think.
Ooh.
So we're definitely in there.
What's the one after that?
Gen Z.
And when does that start?
90.
Really?
I think so. 95. I could be wrong. Call in if you know.
What are you drinking, by the way?
Oh, good question. Well, as you know, don't buy the background. I'm in a Hilton Garden Inn in Omaha, Nebraska. Not bragging. And so I realized I went to the club, I did a show, and I came back and I said, I got to do a pod, but I forgot to bring a cocktail. So I went down to the little mart they got down, the little market in the lobby. All they got was lemon truly.
Oh, man.
So I'm going to be that guy.
Lemon truly.
I'm like a hot chick at a Kentucky Derby over here.
That sounds like a homophobic dad calls his gay son. You fucking lemon truly.
That's what Hemingway would call me. There it is, folks.
I
Sorry
love
about
it.
the background.
I love it. I got a Manhattan going. I'm on original.
Mm.
Went back. I was gonna do a Belvedere or whatever they're called. It's when you do sweet vermouth, bourbon, and Campari. But I was kind of like, I'd rather do. They have another one. I'll do it another week called an Old Pal, which I like better. It's dry vermouth, bourbon, and Campari. It's fucking good.
Can we just go on a limb and say that might be your favorite cocktail?
Yeah, I like a Manhattan. It's a cocktail. It's strong. It's got a little sweetness. It's got a little tart. I love it. It's perfect. Perfect cocktail.
It is great. It's not too much of anything. It's not too tart, not too sweet, not too strong, but it's got all the flavors.
Gives you a nice buzz too. Like it makes you just feel. It's a good drunk for me. I've been doing wine a decent amount, like a little red wine in the winter, scotch in the winter. But man, it's cold out. It's snowing here, man. That's why you're stuck in Omaha, right?
I know. I saw the photos, or I saw some news reports from New York, and man, it is coming down. It's like a whiteout out there. And I had a flight at 6 a.m. It's a nightmare getting out of Omaha. 18 layovers and a bus and a train and a tram and all this shit. And I got a text today. It's a canceled flight, so I had to like reschedule, and I'm sure that'll get canceled. So tomorrow's going to be a whole airport day. I can already feel it.
Damn. I hate a stressful travel day, man. It's nothing
Nightmare.
worse.
Nightmare. It's brutal. I mean, luckily, I got a phone and Wi-Fi so I can get some work done at the airport, but you just can't relax the whole day. Then you finally get home at like midnight and you got to Uber to your house. It's a nightmare.
Fuck. Yeah. I don't miss that. I haven't been on the road in a bit, like flying in a bit, but I'll be back at it soon, I'm sure. Yeah, I miss it.
Yeah, it seems like it's starting to open up a little.
Yeah, I think it's going to open up a little. I mean, it's like people are getting the vaccines and stuff. I think the numbers are going to go down. I know January was like the worst month, but I think it's like it's the worst right now. It's gonna go downhill, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And like my mom has the vaccine, my dad has the vaccine, girlfriend's mom has the vaccine. So like it's getting around pretty good, I think. I know people are bitching about it, but if my mom's got it, that's a good sign.
What any good Rex?
Oh man, this is gonna sound weird, but I was flipping through my cable package, if you know what I mean. I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to get yelled at, but I was flipping through my shit there, and I'm a big documentary guy, as you know. Saw a documentary on Lynyrd Skynyrd. I go, yeah, they're a popular band. I've never really gotten into them, but I'll listen. Sweet Home Alabama. Amazing doc. Blew my mind. I couldn't believe it.
Damn. Give me some highlights.
Well, it's called If I Leave Here Tomorrow, and it's just so crazy. Song. We've all heard the band story. These guys meet up, they play in a garage, they do drugs, then they all of a sudden hit it big. But these are redneck guys from Florida. I thought they were from Alabama because of the song. They live in a shack on a river. They're all fucking alcoholics. Their dads are fucking rednecks and idiots. And they kill alligators and do LSD and have long hair. And they all fail out of school. And they just kept playing guitar all day long and drums. One guy was writing a song in and out of jail. They all get shot. They're all crazy. And they just clicked. And then I can't remember how they got bigger, but like one guy signed them. And then they opened for The Who. And then they just blew up.
Oh, shit.
But they're so cool because they're like redneck hillbillies. But they're all about progress. And if you listen to the songs, they're like pumping in. They got that song in Sweet Home Alabama. Birmingham had a governor. Boo, boo, boo. Apparently he was a big racist.
Damn.
So they're like sliding in all this subliminal woke shit in their hillbilly tunes. Everybody thinks it's like barroom drinking and
there's a bit in there, dude.
Oh, maybe.
Like just modernizing that, like that's so fucking funny.
Yeah, I mean they have a whole song about how guns are bad, and like they've all been shot. They all have friends who have guns.
QAnon had a message board. I don't know, something like
politicians are all pedos. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
It's good, man. It's really good, and you fall in love with them. They're so sweet and they're so humble.
HBO or Netflix or what is it?
Oh, that's good. I think it was Showtime.
Oh, Showtime's got good shit, man.
Good docs.
Remember, you turned me on to that Kobe doc, Muse. That was pretty fucking incredible.
Loved it. Loved it.
And the Ron Artest one on Showtime's incredible too.
Oh, I don't know if I saw that.
Oh, it's incredible.
What are you working on?
I got a good rec. I just read this. Noir is like my escape right now. Like it's always been my escape, but like there's something about noir that's like it takes me to a different world, and the language is so fucking fun, and the dialogue. I read this book it's a classic. I've never read it. It's by Walter Mosley, called Devil in a Blue Dress.
Yeah, of course.
I never read it. I heard it's a classic.
I've never read it either.
It's fucking great. It's incredible.
Oh, really?
It's like they made a movie about it with Denzel.
But he was Devil in a Red Dress, wasn't he?
No, Devil in a Blue Dress.
Okay.
Denzel plays Easy Rollins, who's the detective. Don Cheadle is like his breakout role, is like his tough friend. And it's a great fucking book, man. There's so many good lines in it where you're like, it's basically like a Philip Marlowe type detective story, but you add in the racial tension of like the late 40s, post-war. He served in the military, so he's got all this anger,
right?
But then there's these like colorful villains where like there's a scene where he's working for this shady white guy, DeWitt. Perfect fucking perfect white guy name at that time, DeWitt.
Is it Southern?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No. It's in LA, but they're like Houston and like Louisiana guys. So yeah,
I see.
So it's got like a Southern element for sure. And there's a scene where he's like, a tough guy, served in the war, and he could fuck shit up. He called himself a killing machine, but these young white kids are fucking with him, and he's like, I can't. He's like, I could murder all of them with my bare hands, but I can't do shit because I'm a black man or whatever. And this guy DeWitt comes in, he goes, "Are you fucking with my associate?" And he says to the kids, "Get on your knees and suck his dick."
What?
And that type of shit. He pulls out a gun, suck his dick, and the kids are crying. And he basically said afterwards, he was like, "You would have thought that gave me some calm, but like, if he's willing to do that to one of his own kind, what the fuck would he do to me?" Like good ass lines like that, where you're like, "Oh, this is." And there was a like shit like missing. It's about a missing woman, Devil in a Blue Dress. And this guy goes, "Look how pretty she is." He goes, "Yeah, if she weren't, you wouldn't be looking for her." Like shit like that. I love that.
Wow,
so smooth.
Yeah. So what I love about noir is, because it's fiction, but it's urban. It's all in the city, which I love. I love the city shit, like Chinatown with Jack Nicholson, all that shit. Because sci-fi, I just fan it. Lord of the Rings can blow me. Harry Potter can blow me. I hate all that shit because I can't get into it. I love noir because it's in the city.
I'll fuck with good sci-fi though. Like if it's like dude, Ex Machina is brilliant.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that I can get up, but they're not on a spaceship. They're in a guy's house in the hills. I can still. It's technology, but when it's like
good sci-fi, but I'm with you. Like I prefer noir is more my shit than good sci. I mean, I like the original Star Wars and shit. I love that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a hero story. I can get on board with Star Wars. It's so good, but Star Trek I hate.
Really?
Yeah, it's just it's a Klingon. What's going on here? We're stuck on a spaceship. It's so limited.
I'm just not that into it. I'm sure we'll be hearing from Joe Mackey about this. I hear Battlestar Galactica is like the best show ever. I've never seen it, but people fucking go nuts. People I really trust. The South Park guys say it's like the greatest show ever.
Oh, I trust those guys for sure.
And our close friend Joe Mackey, who also
fuck
him.
Yeah, he's an idiot. But yeah. No, I get it, and it's impressive, and they have to create this whole world in their mind, and that's all cool. But like The Matrix, I'm on board with because it's somewhat based in reality. But when you got talking trees and Lord of the Rings, I'm like, that doesn't exist.
You heard the story that Will Smith turned down that role for Wild Wild West?
I did hear that. What an idiot.
That's crazy. Because he got to sing a song for Wild Wild West, probably. He was so hot with music at that time that they were like, you get a song. And they were like, he probably asked the Wachowski brothers, he's like, can I have a song? And they're like, fuck you don't have a song. Can you imagine the Matrix as well? Like, fucking red pill, blue pill.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, that he had a couple of Jiggy with it was another rough one. Fuck. Men in Black.
Men in Black was kind of fun. Men in Black's a good movie.
Good movie. And that was a graphic novel or something like that, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
Dude, that movie is funny. That movie holds up. Barry Levinson, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and a great movie.
That was back when a black guy and a white guy was still like, whoa, they're partners. Holy shit. Like, look at these two. Oh, my God. Like Rush Hour, another 48 Hours, Men in Black.
Yeah, but like the difference between Men in Black and 48 Hours is like 47 slurs.
That's true. That's
you
true.
rewatch 48 Hours and you're like, does Nick Nolte, like, can he cool it for like a minute? It's just crazy.
I know. I heard half of that was improvised. Joking. But he looks like that guy. Like when he's saying the N-word, you're like, oh, he means it. He's got the bad suit. He's blonde, old blonde guy,
Yeah, that was 48 Hours is a great movie though. I mean, that was like a movie where the violence felt real. That character who was in trouble the whole movie, that bad guy who was just trying to like save his girl, whatever. Like that was a dark storyline. So like that balanced some funny ass shit.
Yeah.
With some real stuff,
Right. It still had some grit on it, but it still had like a lightheartedness too. It's really well done.
Yeah, man. Eddie Murphy fucking rules. He
really I said it before. I'll say it again. I don't think he should come back. I mean, he can do whatever he wants, obviously, but as a stand-up, it'll never live up no matter what.
So that's a weird thing. Like we've talked about guys like the legends who die young and you're just like immortalized. Like it's not just comedy. Like you go to Cuba and it's like Che Guevara's pictures everywhere, because he went out in his prime, and then you have fucking, Fidel Castro lives forever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. They can't kill that guy.
You go out at the peak.
Yep.
That's who you are forever. Like Bill Hicks is Bill Hicks.
So true. I mean, he even has a bit about it. Like, what if you saw Hendrix now doing like an AT&T commercial or selling fucking Depends or something? Like, how sad would that be? And he epitomizes that with his early day. Died at what, 33?
Yeah, well, Bill Hicks. I mean, like, think of all the greats that died around that age. I mean, Jesus aside, you've got like Bruce Lee. You've got, like you mentioned, Hendrix. You've got fucking Janis Joplin. Like all these legends.
Kurt Cobain.
Super young. Cobain's a big one too.
Yeah. Is that
because like how he could have changed? Maybe.
I know. Turning into a dad and all that, and
becomes like a Fox News guy.
Yeah, he'd have a podcast about how much Pearl Jam sucks or whatever.
Oh, Bill Hicks he'd be a podcast. He'd be like, Jay Leno did a fucking Doritos commercial. He sold his soul. Then cut to like a minute later, he's like, which reminds me, Adam and Eve is having a discount sale on
I know, that's so weird to think about, because he would definitely have a podcast and it would be huge, but you still got to do ads.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you who gave me a phone call last week?
Oh, I'm excited. You teased us a little off air, so maybe catch everybody up.
All right. So I was telling Mark that a comedy legend gave me a call. I mean, you've had this with Seinfeld. You had Seinfeld hit you up and be like, I'm a fan. You hung with Jerry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Highlight of my life.
You text with Jerry.
Yep. Still text every now and then. I don't want to overdo it, but yep.
That's fucking amazing.
It's the whole thing is bananas. Just from watching him in New Orleans with my parents on must-see TV to sitting on a couch with him at the Beacon. I mean, the whole thing doesn't make sense, but
that's also a guy though that your parents like get to, where they're like, why can't you work with Seinfeld? That's like the name they would say.
Yes, exactly. Like you tell them you got into the Comedy Cellar, which is like the biggest accomplishment ever. And they're like, the who, the what? It's a cellar. It's a basement. Okay. Well, how much? Oh, you get $30 a set? Oh, cool. They don't get it, but then you tell them I met Seinfeld, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we got something here."
Now we're talking. Yeah, well, that's a big one. Yeah, so I'm doing a thing on Friday. It's like you did it too. I think it's that Comedy Central roast thing. You know what I'm talking about? Where we're like, doing it took forever to set up in my apartment. Like, move this bookshelf, move that bookshelf. So I'm like moving shit around. I'm doing it. It was fun. I ended up having fun doing it. But a lot of movement. My reps are texting me, Jay Leno's trying to call you. And I'm like, I got like a missed call. And I'm like, what?
Whoa.
So I'm like, guys, can we wrap it up? I want to talk to Jay Leno.
Oh my God. Is he a fan? Did he see your set, or give me the whole thing?
So he watched my special, I Got This. And he was like, I loved your special. I just want to tell you, I watched it with my wife, and I talked to him on the phone for a while. He couldn't have been a nicer guy. Great guy.
I mean, this is I love Jay Leno. Me and List always talk about Leno because biggest misconception is that Letterman is cooler than Leno. Leno is the cool one.
You think so?
Oh yeah. I mean, look, Letterman had the better TV show, obviously better late night talk show, but Leno still does stand up, by the way.
Yeah.
Letterman gave up stand-up a long time
We
ago.
talked about
Letterman,
that. He mentioned that. He said he's doing Zooms. He's doing Zoom gigs.
what?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Also, you do Letterman. He's ice cold. He doesn't talk to you. Leno comes in your dressing room. He goes, "How you doing? What's going on? What have you been up to?" And then like, "How long you been doing it? Where do you get up?" And all that shit. And he wants to talk to you, and he like gives you notes and he compliments the tags. Whereas Letterman just goes, "All right, see you. Get out of here."
Yeah, my agent told me that he hits up some comics and he's cool, but he's a cool guy about that. And then yeah, he couldn't have been nicer on the phone. We talked for like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. And he was super nice. And he was just like, "I don't want to take up your time." I'm like looking around. I'm like, "Do you know what I'm fucking doing right now?"
Yeah, yeah.
But no, he had a cool line where he said, I said, "Well, you know, it's on YouTube. So a lot of my views are just word of mouth. You know, it's not on Netflix or anything." And he was like, "Well, you know, word of mouth is big." Lyndon Johnson had a quote where he said, a handshake is worth 250 votes. And he goes, "Well, I'm going to tell a lot of people about your special, and they'll tell a lot of people." So, you know, pretty cool. Very, very,
Very cool.
made my day, to say the least, you know.
Totally. What a mensch. Cool guy. Great
Cool
comic.
guy.
That is so odd. Did he quote any bits or did he say, "Have you ever
Shit,
come
I'm
to
trying
LA?"
to remember. He
or-
said one. Yeah, he's like, "Well, maybe I'll see you around sometime." He didn't like no hard plans, but
Sure.
weird time to make plans. But he said, you know,
You guys are doing a pod together now.
Well, he said he quoted a bit about how I said I can't drive, and he thought that was really. He's like, I laughed out loud at that. Like, you know, I'm a big car guy. I was like, "Oh, I know." But yeah, he said I'm a big car guy, and he said the fact that you can't drive, you really can't drive. And he, you know, he's hip to shit where he's like, "Where'd you film at? The Comedy Cellar?" I'm like, "Oh, I mean, that's cool that he just knows that, you know?"
Yeah, totally. Oh, what a guy. Salt of the earth, regular guy.
I read his book when I was a kid. I read Leading with My Chin when I was a kid. I mean, it definitely a cool thing for sure.
Super cool. Wow. That's I said it before, I'll say it again. It's the great thing about stand-up is the lack of pretension. You know, like some barroom guitar guy's never gonna meet Mick Jagger, and we could still meet Seinfeld or Leno or whoever. Super cool. Chris Rock, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. And that's one that I told my parents. My parents my dad, it's weird that my dad calls me. He's like, what did he say?
Yeah.
With like that type of shit. So I was like, "Oh man, that's pretty cool."
That's fucking awesome. And the hilarious that you missed the call too.
Hilarious, because I'm fucking like moving shit in my apartment. Where I'm like, is this good for the shoot?
Yeah. I'm doing that on Tuesday. I'm not looking forward to it.
It's fun. It's fun. It's like the setup is excruciating. Like I'm on no sleep and I was a little hungover, and they're like, it was like an hour of like, move this book the other way so we don't have to deal with you know, copyright stuff.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Is it all? Did you have to prepare? Or is it all riff?
I wrote a few bits for it, but I also,
okay.
It was funny it's funny when you're doing like, so for those of you listening, don't know what we're talking about. If we weren't clear enough, it's basically like the top 100 roast jokes ever. And they had comics like me, Mark, Roy Wood, Yamanika, people like us, like just riffing on the jokes. So it's funny when I have a bit where I'm like, that's a good line that I wrote and prepped. And then they'd be like, "So how did this roast joke make you feel?" And I'm like, "You want me to like be like, here's why this is a good joke."
Yeah.
I want to be like, I want to make bits. I'm here to be, anyone can dissect the bit. I want to tell jokes. You know?
Yeah. So, well, what does that have to do with Leno? How did Leno come into that? Are they just two different things?
What do you mean?
Like, did Leno, is he doing it too? So he wanted,
no. I think he just caught it on YouTube. I think it was like came up with like recommended or something.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, fucking Jay Leno. It's hilarious that he watches. I feel like we're out of the loop because our shit's on YouTube and and not on Netflix. Where it's like, I feel like the stars, why would they even think to look on YouTube? I told him on the phone, I was like, you know, I got brought up on stage this summer at like a parking lot gig, and they were like, this next comic's got a YouTube special, and it got a fucking laugh.
Yeah,
it got a laugh, and he laughed really hard at that. He thought that was hilarious. I'm like, it got a laugh that people were like, "Oh, clearly that's a joke." I'm like, "No, this is what we have to do now."
Right. Yeah, he's seen like, look, I like Jerry. I know Jerry, but I feel like Leno feels easier to hang with. You know, Jerry, I'm still on kind of pins and needles the whole time. But Leno, I feel like you could kind of let your guard down a little bit more.
I think part of it is kind of like, this is how I look at it now, man. Like, my friends are my friends. Like, you're my friend. I have my friend group, you know? And then those guys, it's like, it's all house money. It's like, whatever. It's great. It's awesome. It's almost like cool to just say you've talked to them or met them. But like, I put no I put no major stakes in the conversation because I'm like, unless it goes horribly, which would suck.
Right. Of course. But that's a healthy way to be, because I put way too much and I'm devastated. It's like almost like a hot lady I'm texting that I am in love with, So that's way smarter, because I put all my chips in, and it never pays off.
I just think like it's great that we have these stories and we get to tell these stories and stuff. And it's like, these legends, like I remember like Jeff Ross would tell me stories about like Buddy Hackett. I'm like, to me, that's fucking cool. But
that's so cool.
But yeah, it's another thing Leno said. He's like, these old school comics. He was talking about how much he hated like Last Comic Standing because he's like, they're like, be funny in 2 minutes. He's like, that's not comedy.
Right.
That's not comedy. I'm like, oh, it's cool to you guys like that say that. But he's like, that's not, he's like, I forgot who he brought up, but he said someone who would take like, he's like, go up and watch this first comics. It takes like a minute and a half to get to the first punch, but the punch destroys. He's
right.
Like, that was how comedy was.
Yeah.
And now it's like, And I think he likes punchlines, but he was kind of like the hunger, maybe the appetite is off. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, you can tell he loves it. I mean, for the people who don't know, I'm a big Leno fan, and he would go back in the late 70s when there weren't a ton of comedy clubs. He had to get good and had to get reps. So he would go to a bar or a strip club, put $50 on the bar and say, let me do a half hour. If I bomb, keep the money. If it goes well, I get the 50 back. So you don't have to lose any money. And they would go, okay. And then, a couple times he did okay, kept the money. A couple times he lost it.
It's like a pool shark, man.
Yeah. I mean, what a badass move. Like, I just got to get up. This is one way.
Well, he knew he had material. I saw him once go up at the Improv and he was funny. It was good material.
Really?
Yeah, it was cool. It was like, it's probably like 4 or 5 years ago. He goes up in a blazer, looks like old school, but like he got him. I mean, it's cool to watch a legend just go up and do his thing. And I was like, yeah, this is pretty sweet.
He's a pro, and he's great on pod. He did Rogan. He was great. He did a O&A like back in the old days, and he zinged everybody. He was running the tables on these. He would like zinged Opie and zinged Jim, making fun of how Jim looks and how they're like not real men. Jim's like, oh, I can't change a tire. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm eating here. Come on, you pussy. It was so funny.
Do you see when Louis was on panel with him and Louis goes at him and Leno went back? It was a great exchange. It was
great exchange.
It was like two dudes who just are like, just at the top, like, just like, we're fucking quick. We're good.
Yeah.
Clearly they liked each other. It wasn't like malicious, but it was fucking like Louis came for Leno and Leno's like, nah. Yeah, man, fucking comedy. At least we get good stories and shit,
Yeah, here. Everybody,
here.
All you hear now is it's being censored. Oh, what's Sorry.
Hey,
toast.
To a new beginning, baby.
Yeah.
Drink up.
Here. That's a new segment you mentioned. We should toast
I think
something.
a toast is fun. We could come up with like funny toasts and shit. Well, that'll be our next week. Well, that'll be our homework. We'll come up with it.
All right. I got one already. I mean, I already texted it to you, but I'm toasting the GameStop guys. Good for them. Those fucking nerds on Reddit who beat the system. Here.
Good for the people that got in and out early. The rest of you, it's a pyramid scheme. It's going to fall. But to the early people, well done.
Well done. I mean, I think that rocked the foundation of finance as we know it.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know, but it is hilarious. I'm not going to act like I didn't see that and laugh my ass off.
I love it. I love seeing the guys on like MSNBC and the tie, the old guy with the white hair, like, this is unbelievable. This is inappropriate or whatever the fuck. And you're like, shut up. You got billions.
GameStop is fucking it's a hilarious one to pick because it's like it's Blockbuster but for video games basically, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The real loser are the GameStop employees, the fat guy with the zits who's like, wait, I don't get anything? I still work a fucking 9 to 5 shit job. And you mean
my hourly wage didn't include stock in the company? This is bullshit.
I know, exactly. He's got to go back home to his ferret, and the whole company's through the roof.
Man, is Electronic Boutique still around? That was one too. They all crumble. I feel like. I mean, I feel like everything like that. Like it's just like Borders. Think of like anything that you go to get that's a big. Like, dude, going to Barnes and Noble feels like visiting a dying relative. You're like, this is not going to last long. Let's just enjoy the time we have together. This is
so true.
On its last legs here. Barnes and Noble's cool too. I like the coffee shop vibe. Yep. I like being able to, to some degree, I miss Blockbuster. Like I miss the experience of going to pick a movie.
Yeah, same. I mean, it was a great date thing. You go to Blockbuster together. You can comment on all the cover. I worked at Blockbuster for like 3 years.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was just such a movie douche. And I was obsessed with movies. I was in Louisiana with nothing to do. So I said, hey, let me get a job at Blockbuster. Horrible job, by the way. I thought it was going to be like movie job, but it's just you just work in a library, basically. You know, you're just putting shit back on the shelf in alphabetical order. And everybody's got late fees. And you're like, hey, you owe Wizard of Oz from 1949. He's like, fuck you. I'm like, yeah, you owe 10 grand. The guy's like, so it was mostly that.
10 grand.
But yeah, I loved Blockbuster. That was super cool. And then remember, what was it? Kim's Video, or what was that one in the Village?
St. Mark's, legendary. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was fucking awesome with the posters and the CDs and the movies. They had everything. You could add fucking Asian movies and snuff films and all this shit.
Classic. Faces of Death. So much is gone, man. So much of New York is, I mean, of everywhere. I mean, that's, cool indie shit doesn't last long.
No, I was, I'm in Omaha, so they're 10 years behind out here, but I went to the mall and you're like, oh yeah, Hollister. What the fuck is that? And
I was going to say Hollywood Video.
Oh yeah, it's like PacSun and Spencer's and the fucking what's the one with the high tech gadgets? They always got the armchair with the cushion and the foot rub.
Oh, Sharper Image.
Sharper Image. That's still here. You're like, wow, it was like a throwback.
Damn, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
10 years behind.
Yeah, maybe 20. But it's weird. I mean, it's sad, but it's true. But I like going out. That's why comedy is great, because you got to go see it. You got to go. I mean, you can see our specials, but, we're doing crowd work and you're riffing on this and that and talking about the town. Like, entertainment, luckily, is pretty much mostly live.
It's incredible. Yeah. And I hope that it's not replaceable, because you think about that, but I remember we were doing those rooftop shows in the summer in New York, thinking no one would come out. And and people came to every single one because people want shit to do, and I think they're hungry for things to do, especially right now with dude, it's a fucking tough year for everybody. It just really is.
Of course. And I think it's just human nature. You need to connect, you need to interact, you need to see things. And that's why I hate those boxes of food. What is that? Fresh, those boxes of pre-made food that it comes with.
No, I thought you were gonna say Fresh Direct. Don't knock Fresh Direct. No. That's legit. I know you're talking about the pre-made shit where you're like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's hey, we're gonna send you a box of chicken cacciatore, and it's little individual, sealed bags of Parmesan, and then a little roasted red pepper. And you're like, wait, what are we doing here? Let's go to the fucking grocery store and see the produce, smell it, feel it, get the chicken, pick it up, go get the salt, the pepper, whatever it is. I think that's just better for your brain.
I agree, man. Time, as we're fucking killing our brain with alcohol. But this is what's good for your brain. But that's why I feel I'm not going to stop drinking. So I do need other shit. You need a break from other things. That's why showers, one of the last places you have, right? That's why cooking's still important. You chopping garlic, you can't look at your phone.
Aha.
Right. So it's you can listen to a podcast or something, I guess, but it is valuable to have that time. You're holding shit in all day. You're internalizing stuff. And then you go and you do your thing and you're like, oh, the shit starts flooding out. Right. Premises start flooding out.
Yes. So true. I live in the West Village, and there's a little wine shop by my house, and they do a thing where you tell them your last name and you have an account with them. And it's so stupid. You get $2 off every $800 you spend or whatever it is. But it's cool. I see this big Greek guy. He's got hairy forearms. He's got a bad accent. And he's like, this is a good white for this. And that's a good red if you're cooking with pasta. And I'm like, I get to interact with the guy, and I'm learning about a wine, and you see all the wines. You look at the labels. I mean, it's better than just clicking something and waiting for it.
Yeah. There's something about an interaction that is nice. You talk, you're talking to a stranger. We've talked about this before, but forcing yourself to have to interact with a human isn't it it's an important part of life that I guess the next generation will know less and less about.
That's true. It's sad but true. Louis used to have this great point. I don't know if it was a bit, but he used to talk about how you go to a bookstore and you could sometimes get laid. You go to a bookstore and you see a lady talking or reading, kind of leafing through Tolstoy, and you're like, oh, you got to read this one. And she's like, oh, really? You like that? And he's like, we should go get a glass of wine and talk. And then boom, so like, or how about Blockbuster with the Jeff's picks? Remember that? Like, you got to check out Jeff's picks, and you're like, boy, Jeff loves Carrie Elways or whatever the fuck,
the idea that you're using Tolstoy to get fucking pussy is so funny to me. Where's like, Tolstoy? So by the way, some people tweeted me that my bit from last week, Louis had a similar bit. It's dumb. It's dropped. I appreciate you guys.
Oh,
it fucking happens. It happens a million times.
Yeah, that's why you ask.
That's why I ask. But
yeah, it happens all the time.
Oh man, Louis is fuck. He's got so many where you're like, God damn it. That even that premise is hilarious. Just getting laid in the bookstore is so funny.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. There's some. How about any pet peeves?
Oh, you never did you give me a rec?
Yeah. Devil in the Blue Dress.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Walter Mosley. Incredible. Just like a classic. I'm gonna read more of his stuff. It's like a classic noir. I loved it. It was it's just a totally, if you're looking for an escape, it's another world. It's fun to just go into another world.
Yeah, totally. All right. I love it. I remember seeing the movie like in a hotel room years ago.
I hear it's good.
It's good. Yeah. I think they changed it to make it Southern, because I remember a lot of moments where Denzel would have like the sweat stains on his button down, and then he was fucking one of the ladies, and she was like, oh, Lordy B, you're ringing my bell. That's what she kept saying. And it felt very Southern. So maybe they
Denzel's
adjusted
so cool,
it.
Man.
Oh, the best.
Yeah. His new movie looks pretty rough though.
Oh, what is that?
I don't know. It's like a cop movie. It doesn't look good. I think it's on Netflix.
He's getting a little typecasted, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think once you're in so many fucking hits, it's like
tortured, tough guy, cop, serious, angry kind of thing.
Do you like Training Day?
I own it. I love that movie.
It's good. But I feel like that was like the beginning of like every character had to be like, my man. Like,
yeah.
Like that type of dude where you're like, all right. He's incredible. I'm a fucking big fan, obviously.
Incredible.
What's his best movie, you think?
Didn't know you like to get wet though. PCP, Primo. Let's see. Oh man, Malcolm X, he's fun in.
I forgot that's like a 3.5 hour movie or something. It's crazy.
Spike Lee, yeah.
He's dude. Delroy Lindo shouts out to that great underrated character actor.
Love that guy. Great in Get Shorty.
Oh, Get Shorty fucking rules.
Great movie. And what a cat, like a young Gandolfini's in that. And Dennis Farina, is that his name?
Is he? I just recommended someone Midnight Run where Farina just like.
Oh, that guy's a beast. That guy is great. And he's great in Snatch.
RIP, man. Yeah, Farina is a fucking legend. Ex-cop in Chicago.
What?
Yeah, dude, he's a bad motherfucker. I love Farina. Get Shorty, one of my favorite lines is fucking R.I.P. Gandolfini too, the greatest.
Oh shit!
When he goes up to Travolta, and Travolta goes, "This guy's stuntman," and goes, "Yeah." He grabs him by the nuts and like throws him down a flight of stairs and goes, "He's good."
So good. Wow, that
movie rules.
That was back before Travolta had the massage table incidents, and you still believe the fact that he could throw a guy down some stairs. Although the nut grab is not.
Has anyone had a weirder career than Travolta? Like the ups and downs and just like.
So crazy. I mean, started out bangers. It was like Saturday Night Fever and Grease and all these huge hits. And then Look Who's Talking. Then he went to hell. Then Pulp Fiction. Then Michael. I mean, it was just like this phenomenon.
Michael is such trash.
I saw you tweet about it, didn't you?
It's so bad. I watched a little bit of it because I was just like, I just want to remember how bad this is. And like, I love Andy McDowell, but like, God, it's a fucking turd, man.
Holy shit, is it bad?
They were just trying to ride his charisma all the way to the bank. And it's like, look, he's likable, but no one's pulling this shit off, dude. No one's pulling off the angel who's like just got a horseshit dialogue.
Yeah, there was a couple. It was trying to be like kind of a Ghost thing where they had like the sappy music and they would like slow dance alone, and she would shave him.
Ghost is way better though.
Ghost is great. Yeah. But
Whoopi Goldberg was fucking funny in Ghost.
I think she won an Oscar for that.
She was good.
Started as a comic.
Yeah, Whoopi was funny.
Yeah, she was funny. The View is a bummer, but she was funny.
There's just no way you're making that show. That show's just not going to be good.
No. A bunch of koozes sitting around a semicircle talking about fucking the bullshit of the day. It's like, all right.
Coos is such a good insult. You fucking coos. What a
I
great
love
insult.
coos. It's this the polite way to say cunt, basically. or not polite, but TV clean. All right, pet peeve. Here we go.
Let's go.
Ooh, I'm howling over here.
Yeah.
Pet peeve. I did a podcast with a guy, and nice guy, but he said, "Can you meet me in the park at noon?" I said, "Yeah, you got it. You want to do it face to face with some Zoom
You're the
mics?"
nice guy. You're the nice guy.
Well, yeah, he was very convincing, but so I'm a guy. You say noon, I'll be there at noon. It's 11:52. I'm walking there, and he goes, "Hey, where you at?" And I go, "Oh, I'm heading over there." And he goes, "Oh, all right. I thought you were late. Like, I got 8 minutes." And he's like, "Okay, just I thought you were gonna be late." And I'm like, "You said noon. You called me at 11:52. I was so pissed. I don't know why that pissed me off. Like, you're yelling at me, and I haven't even done anything wrong yet."
Some little dick shit, some insecurity right there. That's what he's basically doing is being like, I'm nervous you're gonna blow me off, and I'm putting that on you before you even get there.
Yes, exactly. And it really rubbed me the wrong way. I called him out when I saw him. I got there like 11:56, but yeah, I'm like, I'm still early.
You should have looked him dead in the eye and done another lap. I got 4 minutes. You prick.
Right. Because to me, a minute is a minute. Like, if you say noon, I'll be there at noon, but I don't want to get there at 11:50.
I'm very punctual too. If I'm gonna be late, I was like 4 minutes late to a Zoom the other day. And I gave a huge apology. I said, I thought this was an hour later. I'm very sorry. And it was 4 minutes, but it was Zoom. So you should be on time to a Zoom. But I try to be punctual. You're fucking with another person's time. And I think it's very rude to be late. And there's some people who just live to be late.
Oh yeah. That will fuck you in life. Being early or on time is you get a huge leg up if you're on time. The late guys, you just don't trust them.
There's all these Hollywood stories about people who just showed up. They would show up like 30 minutes early to meetings and just make sure to like watch them walk in. It was like a power move. Like they're already there, just sitting there, you know?
Yeah. I had a pitch with Netflix. This is 4 years ago. And I show up and I was kind of running because I didn't want to be late. And I was a little sweaty. And I show up, and in the lobby in a t-shirt, basketball shorts, and flip-flops was Adam Sandler. And
oh my God.
This motherfucker is 20 minutes early, looking at his phone, dicking around, scratching his balls. And I'm like barely making it. So I was like, I got to get my shit together. And that's why he's where he's at and I'm where I'm at. And, other factors. But yeah.
He's the coolest.
Coolest guy. Worst dresser on the planet.
That adds to it. The fact that he's rolling into fucking Netflix meetings and basketball shorts and slippers is fucking legendary.
I know. With socks, by the way. Like, my gal, she's always like, "That's so hot that he dresses like that." I'm like, "That's hot?" She's like, "Yeah." That's what's so complex about women is she's like, they look beyond the thing. Like, I see a schlub and she sees a guy who doesn't give a fuck.
Well, here's what it is. If you're successful and you dress like shit, women are like, he doesn't care. If you're a bum and you dress like shit, they're like, you're a fucking loser.
That's a great point. That's it's a bit.
It's all about who you are. Like, she thinks that's hot because he's hot. Adam Sandler is a fucking, it's like when women are like, I like a guy who's a dick. It's like, no, you like a fucking successful dick. You don't like a dick cashier at Walgreens.
That's
like
so true.
You like a dick fucking guy in a suit who's drinking a martini at the bar and pulls in 12 mil a year. That's who you like.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the creepy guy at the office also happens to be ugly. The guy giving you the weird massage, you're like, oh, Greg looks like, he's bald and all this and fat and old. But if Zach with the fucking gel in his hair and the Armani suit giving you a massage, you're like, I'm in.
If Joe Biden sniffs your hair, he's a creep. If Tom Hardy sniffs your hair, you're wet. All right. Let's be fucking real. Come on.
Yeah. Right. Here. If Tom Hardy sniffed my hair, I'd be wet. I mean, he's a talent.
He's great. Have you ever seen that movie Lock?
Lock? No.
Dude. All right. Highly recommend it. It's like a 90-minute movie. It's the entire movie takes place of just him in his car. Every other character. It's insane. Like, I love movies that are like, we're going to do it this way. I know it sounds insane. They pull it off, dude. It's literally Tom Hardy just taking phone calls the entire movie, but it unravels this fucked up plot. And he is so good. I love that guy.
Well, he's such a great actor that he's enough to carry it, like Phone Booth with Colin Farrell didn't really have the same cachet.
He was in a lot of stinkers, and then he won me over big with In Bruges.
In Bruges is so good. No one talks about that movie. That movie is amazing.
Masterpiece.
And weird and quirky and funny, but dark and a little different. I mean, that was a really who's that director? He's done a few good
Martin
things.
McDonagh, genius. Fucking genius. Playwright.
Genius.
He wrote this play called The Cripple of Inishmaan. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that city, but like it's the funniest thing you'll ever read. It's like the dark. He wrote like his classic is like Pillow Man. That's like the famous play. He had all these great plays, but like his big movie was Seven Psychopaths was the next one. It was good. It wasn't as good. Then he did the one with Frances McDormand that was like super divisive and polarizing. It got Oscar nominations, 3 Billboards.
3 Billboards, yeah.
I liked it. People hated it. But I thought it was cool. I mean, I love the cast. I think the first one's the best, In Bruges.
Yeah. The cast is great. Rockwell I love, and Frances McDormand's a great actor. But yeah, I felt like that one was a little forced in some points, but I thought it was good.
Dude, his brother did a movie called The Guard. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's Brendan Gleeson and Don Cheadle. It's incredible. It's
really?
It's like In Bruges vibes. It's really fucking funny, and it's really, I mean, Brendan Gleeson is like the coolest. He's just the coolest.
I don't know that guy.
He's in Bruges. He's the fat guy. He's the main guy.
Yeah, he's great. He's
incredible. His son is this big actor now too, but Domhnall Gleeson, he's in everything. He was in Brooklyn. He was in Star Wars. He was.
That's right.
Literally every movie.
Is he British or Irish?
Irish.
Yeah,
I think Irish.
He's like an Irish Donald Logue. Remember Donald Logue?
He's a great actor.
Great actor. You don't hear about him. Look him up. Give him a goog if you don't know him. He was in every TV show, every commercial.
The Tower of Steve?
No.
Oh, it was like that was like his breakout movie. He was like a fat ladies man. It was funny.
Oh wow. All right.
He's a great actor, that guy.
Great actor, funny, great comedic actor, really good. See, we know about all these guys that don't get any love. We respect quality.
I think they've had good careers though. I think like they made money, and I think to be a working actor is so hard and to beat the odds. And I think he is probably still working. I would think he's so good.
Yeah, I'd hope. And then you always forget about this Broadway, there's off Broadway, there's all this like summer stock and Shakespeare that we forget about, but that's quality work for an actor.
True. Yeah, no, he was he's great. Everything is in I think he was on Gotham. I think he was like a recurring on that, which is like a big show. So I think he did well.
All right, yeah. I hope he is, because he's a talent.
Yeah. I'll give you my pet peeve.
Oh yeah.
I did a podcast, and a woman called me. She's like, "Comics, you guys are the bravest." I'm so sick of people calling comedians brave. We're not brave. Enough of this shit. 2 things I hate when they describe comedians: brave and truth tellers. Two of the things that bug me the most. Brave. Navy SEALs are brave.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Like, we're telling jokes. If it goes badly, I have my legs. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. And as for truth tellers, we're joke tellers. We're truth explorers. Truth telling it sounds so pretentious.
Yes.
If you're only seeking the truth, you're not seeking a joke.
Yeah, I completely agree. They always say that about Pryor. He was so honest. I'm like, well, anybody can be honest. I'm honest, but it has to be funny. Like I can go up. I used to wet the bed. I think that lady's ugly, whatever. It's easy to be honest. You got to make it funny.
Exactly. So that bummed me. That annoyed me. And
that's fun. Yeah, I'm with you.
It just, I mean, like, I'm flattered that people think what we do is brave, but it's like, yeah, it's like we all think different things are brave, but like, let's not lose the fact, like, we're having fun. It's not the idea when people are like, it's so courageous. It's like, come on, we're telling jokes. We're having drinks. We're having a good time. This isn't
right. Right. I got a Budweiser up there. How brave am I? But
Yeah.
I will say there are parts of comedy, and it's the part that nobody thinks about. Everybody's like, you're telling the truth, you're a truth teller, you're brave, whatever. No, that's not it. The hard part is when you're sitting in the green room going, I'm hungover, I'm depressed, I got anxiety, and I got to go be funny for an hour and kill. That's the hard part when you're like, I was on a fucking 6-hour flight. I had a layover. I'm hungover. I want to kill myself. I'm on 2 hours of sleep. Now I got to go kill for 2 shows, an hour each.
Well said. Yeah, I think it's the idea that like finding a partner who's down with this lifestyle is so challenging.
Oh, that too.
Finding someone who's like okay with it, like they don't get what it is on paper. Like I've said this a lot, but like dinner is a sign of stability to a partner. We don't give them dinner. We give them a lot of breakfast and lunch, but there ain't going to be dinner a lot. I mean, sometimes, but like, you know, so that's one thing. The other thing is just, you know, you nailed it as well with having to subdue that anxiety and having to internalize a lot of that pain. Where I remember one time at the Cellar, Esty, the booker, the Cellar, who I miss, and I remember I was going through a breakup, but you could just see I was not well. And the host runs up, I think it was Will Sylvans, runs up and was like, Sam, you're on. And Esty just looks at me and gives me one of these.
Like pucker up. Yeah. Damn. She's Israeli.
It made me laugh. I laughed really hard. Like, that shit will help when someone gives you a little fucking bump, you know? I'm like, all right.
Doesn't work the other way when a guy says, hey, how about a smile, honey? But if a lady does it, all right. But no, it's funny. It's funny.
Telling me to turn it on was pretty funny, though. And like, dude, yeah, exactly. Esty's lived a much harder life than we have.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah,
serving in the Israeli military, you know, that life. She's a tough broad.
Tough broad and a nice lady and giving, and she's done so much for all of us, yada yada yada. So like, you got to give it up.
Miss all the Cellar people. Miss the Comedy Cellar more than anything. Holy shit.
In the words of Gary Goldman, it's not just a comedy club, it's a lifestyle. You go there to eat, you go there to write, you go there to see your friends, you go there to work out, you go there to hang. I mean, it's Thanksgiving, Christmas parties, all that shit. It's just, you know, I'm texting Liz. You had a podcast with the fucking manager of the place,
I miss her, man. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Vegas.
Yeah, good people.
All
good
that.
People.
Best. Good
It'll
people.
Be back. We'll be
good
back.
Club. Yeah, shit. You said something and it made me go off on a thing in my head, and now I lost it. Going up when you don't want to go up. Oh yeah, that's the thing. It's tough because I think the most exhausting thing, and maybe it's because we're a bunch of introvert dweebs, but the most exhausting thing to me is being on when you're not feeling it. Like, that's why day jobs are so taxing, because you got to go, hey, Rick, cold out. How the kids doing? Is it only Tuesday? Another day, another $1. And like, you want to shoot yourself in the mouth because it's so phony and it's so much work to be that phony, where you want to just go, I hate it here. I fucking hate the fluorescent lights and the bad coffee and the clock ticking and all that. But like, that's the hard part. And that's why doing those shows when you're on empty and you got to be on and funny and quick.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's, I mean, as I just mocked that this is like not just truth telling, but like there is an honesty in our field. Like when you work at a bar, you're drinking. There's like this kind of calm reality that we've all kind of agreed upon. We're like, yeah, we're not going to bullshit each other the same way you would in an office. And that when you do tell each other shit that you probably wouldn't tell in an office, right? Where you're like, yeah, I had this bad breakup or something. People know shit is going on where they might not know otherwise. And a bar setting makes it all kind of like less weird. Also, the fact that we work at night, I think something about like night is almost like it brings more of a reality to it.
Yeah.
It's the end of the day. It's kind of like, you're kind of like, who gives a fuck, right? It's kind of like, it's over, right?
Yeah.
The morning, it's weird to be real in the morning, right?
Yes, completely.
But at night, you're kind of like, yeah, it's the end. It's like, it's
the end. That's a funny way to put it.
So yeah, it's weird to be phony. So I think these people know more about us than they would like otherwise. Like our coworkers, it's beyond coworkers, it's friends. Like we will have a drink. If you had a drink at an office, you'd be closer with your coworkers. You just be like, I fucking love that guy. We'll have a drink. But like if you were getting fucked up with your boys at like Home Depot on the hours, you'd be like, that's my fucking dude right there.
Exactly. And look, Truth Tellers is pretentious, but we do get to be honest on stage, and it's just such a better way to be than the whole "how was your weekend? Another day, another dollar." Like if you go to fucking Youngstown, Ohio, you can go on stage and go, "Well, this town sucks," and it gets a laugh because it's like, yeah, it does. And you're some outsider from New York saying that. So like that's nice. You don't have to sit there and go, "How you guys doing? You feeling good?" Like that'd be a bad comic.
I forget where Trump was in Pennsylvania, but his opener was like, "Look, I would never be here otherwise," and it got a huge laugh. And I was like, "That's what we do. That's why he's bad for comedy, because he's taking our
shit." Exactly. I feel the same way. Yeah, everybody's like, "He's gonna be great. He's horrible for comedy." Biden's good for comedy.
Yeah, because we can get back to escapist shit.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you make a good point. I do fucking miss
all my jobs were labor jobs, because you can turn the brain off. I'd rather move around, move muscles than be phony. That to me is more
like a couple
exhausting.
of those jobs is mostly office type shit. I look at these fucking hands, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Dude.
Construction gopher, janitor, furniture mover.
The janitor one shocked me because you did that one for a little while. That was your last one though, right?
That was about 3 years, yeah. But mopping, cleaning bathrooms was a nightmare. I mean, somebody would always blow it up with diarrhea somehow on the fucking walls, and you had to clean that up. But it was still better than Friday, finally, or whatever the fuck you say.
Right. What was that bit again? You had that great bit about it.
I was mopping the floor. It was like a big deal. They told you to mop early so the place looked good, but everybody showed up early. So I'm trying to mop while there's like guys in business suits going in and out, like Grand Central Station, just in and out. So guys would be like, whoa, and like slip all the time. And I was like, shit, sorry. They tell me to mop now. And I'm mopping one day, and inevitably one guy just slipped hard. And he goes, Jesus, if the floor is wet, you got to put a sign down. And I'm like, I'm mopping in front of you. I am the sign. Like, the little guy on the sign doing that? That's me, but in 3D. That was the big bit.
That was fucking funny.
But did that on my first TV set. So that was a big moment for me. Yes, that's right.
That was fucking Comedy Central back in the day.
Yeah, when it mattered. It was me, Che, Lawrence, St. Germain, Emily Heller, Shang Wang. It was a great, Wyatt Cenac. That's a great show. Great group, yeah.
Damn.
Marin was the headliner.
Damn.
Yeah, that was cool. That was Che was trembling. It was so cool to see Che then, because he was brand new. We were a couple years in. We had some shit under our belt, but Che was like a year in or 2 years in. Wow. And he just got picked because he was so charming or whatever. And he fucking murdered.
Yeah, he was good out of the gate.
He was a phenom, but he had to have a beer backstage because he was like shaking.
Damn. Do you ever do that? You do that a lot?
Nah, never do that.
Never drank before taping?
No, I did it in the beginning, like in the old days, like open mic days in New Orleans. I was trembling. I was so nervous, but I got really drunk one day and I said, I'll never do it again.
On a taping?
No, I just in general. I try not to drink before a show.
Not even one?
I'll have one maybe as I'm walking on or on stage, but I won't like pound a few in the green room or anything.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'll do like maybe one, but yeah, I'm with you. Interesting.
You do it on a taping?
I have. I remember like I did a Conan, I think it was my second Conan, and yeah, I had a couple whiskeys in the green room.
What?
And it was probably my best set.
Well, there you
crushed. Go. It was like a one where I was like, wow, that was really good. I was so loose and confident.
Was it I need a few whiskeys, or it was just there and you had one?
It was just I said, oh, I'd like a whiskey, and they said, oh, we'll get that for you, and they did, and I had one. I was like, I'm gonna have another, and then I just felt loose. And that was like back in the days when I really like ran late night sessions on the ground. I mean, we got to a point we got too busy to do that,
right?
Right. Well, like I'd run it, but I didn't have a chance to run it. Like, I mean, it used to be everything to us.
Oh yeah.
It's funny how these late night sets, the views are just fucking shit now.
I was just talking about this with somebody. It's the credits at a comedy special or a comedy show are like so in limbo because like a late night sounds good, but it's meaningless. You know, it's almost like a resume thing more than it is an exposure thing. You know, but like uh you can go viral on a fucking TikTok and that way more people see it,
Isn't that
but
fucking
yet
weird?
it's not impressive. But yet a Tonight Show is kind of impressive. Is there some clout to it? I guess because you have to get picked. Maybe that's what
I
it is.
guess. I guess. Yeah, you're right. I mean, also really bad shit will go viral. You have to remember that. Where you see
Yeah,
something, you're like, you'll look at something and you're like, 3 million views. This is so unfunny.
I know.
So I
I
guess that's part of it. But you're right. It's not like doing the Tonight Show with Carson anymore. I mean, shit.
No. One Rogan or one viral video, all that shit is way more helpful.
Your last Fallon was fucking great though.
Really? I felt like that was one of my weaker. Were you talking
I
about the
thought,
boat or before that?
oh, I love the boat.
Oh, all right. Thanks.
It was so weird and unique. I love weird kind of different shit. Sorry for the rapper there. I'm pouring myself another drinky.
Ooh, is that brand new?
Yeah, this is our friend Jamie. She came to my gig the other night in
Scotch.
Chelsea. Yeah, a little Manhattan action. I'm mixing it on air. No ice in this one though.
Oh, that's Jamie Lynn. Shout out. She gave me a bourbon and you a scotch. She's like our sponsor.
I'm loving it, man. This is nice stuff.
It's
This
funny
is
how a drinking show.
Aberfeldy.
Oh, that's a good name.
I love it.
Sounds like a British butler. Albert Feldy. Chop chop.
What give me any good news stories?
I don't know about good, but it did pretty well on Twitter.
What do you got?
So I got a couple zingers about the first of all. Well, I'll save that one. That one's not ready yet, really. But they're doing anal swabs in China, and so my three jokes that are working on stage were anal swabs in China. Luckily, I hear their swabs are smaller. Also, swabs are. I feel like corona tests are starting to sound like a bored husband. Like, I'm done with this. We need more holes, you know. And then the last one is shit. Oh damn it! I lost it. I had three zingers on the anal swabs. Oh, it was. Look, I'll take a nose swab. I'll take an anal swab, but Jesus, just do the nose first. all right. That was it.
That's funny. That's good. Oh, I should also shout out, man, our email. Keep email. We getting all these great
yes.
emails. And our email is still one more drink with Mark and Sam at Gmail. One more drink with Mark and Sam at Gmail. We could change it, but we already got a bunch of emails. I feel like you guys figured it out. We're good.
Yeah, that's better than the old one too. It's nice and short compared to one more drink, or we might be drunk, or whatever it was with Mark and Sam. Wait, this is the same one.
Yeah, no, it's one more drink with Mark and Sam. Do you want to change it?
Wow, I feel like we gotta at some point. Well, we have so
next
many.
Week, we'll change it. Yeah, we got a lot of emails though. I do like that people are sending us emails and they're like the people that send in the subject heading pet peeve, recommendation,
yes,
joke. I like that. Keep doing that for you guys doing that. I love that what we know we're opening. That's kind of cool. And the animations and shit's hilarious.
Yes.
The photoshops are incredible. We loved all of them. They're so
all
cool.
That. And we'll eventually post all that. So if it's quality, we'll post it. We don't give a shit.
Yeah, and can I read one? Let's read one just to encourage
Hit
people
me.
to send in.
And then I got to hear your news story.
I don't think I have one actually. I fucking forgot one. Let me see.
Okay.
I don't think I have one. I got a bit. I'll do a bit.
But, all right.
Let's see. Angie G. It's from Angie G. Hello, gents. I had one pet peeve for a few years now, and I hope that you'll agree. When people rapidly self-announce themselves as empaths.
What does that mean?
Like they have a lot of empathy.
Oh, okay.
Did I mispronounce it? Empaths? Empaths, sorry. I think it's a huge sign that you're talking to a douchebag. If you're intuitive and I think if you were intuitive and compassionate, I think she meant to say, to the people around you, people would discover that by being around yourself. You don't need to announce it. Comically, the people that say that about themselves are the most oblivious and self-centered ones. Much love, Angie G from NYC. She wrote, "Wow, how redundant. I meant announce themselves." LOL. Oh, there we go.
I completely agree, Angie.
I agree. Yeah, it's like people who are like, "I'm my own worst critic," and we're like, "Are you?" Let's fucking give it a. It's annoying.
Yeah, because I hate you way more. I bet.
But it's
I
like,
completely agree.
yeah, and people that are like, I'm very empathetic. I remember I went on a date with a girl once, and she was like nonstop. Like, she's like, I got to go to. She's like, I'm gonna go to Africa. I'm gonna like really. I want to see human suffering. I was like, you should look at my face on this date. That's human
Exactly.
suffering.
Yeah, yeah. Just do it. Enough with the talk. And the talk is overcompensation because you don't do it. That's my theory.
Why do you think people do that? They're just like, I need to like announce that I'm a great person.
Yeah, yeah. They just want you to think they are because I think they know they're not. So they can maybe convince you that they are. It's like the guy who's like, gay guys are gross. They're going to hell. And you're like, I think you're blowing dudes, Why is there so much energy behind that? It's because there's something internal with you.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's like, it's a weird thing where you're like, I don't even know if they always know though. I think they're kind of
Right.
like, I think sometimes they're just like, no, I'm like a healer. I think being a healer is like something people are very, I'm like, no, I'm like, I feel pain in other ways. And it's like, well, you don't feel my pain and you're talking to me. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you're feeling that much pain, but
Exactly. It's like that old joke from the show Seinfeld where George is at the diner with Jerry. He's like, yeah, one of my talents is I can sense the slightest human suffering. And Jerry goes, you getting anything right now?
fucking perfect.
Perfect. So true. Yeah. But just don't announce, just do. Enough with the announcing. Just go. Like, my brother went to the Peace Corps in Africa for 2 years, helping like African people in a village learn French and math and all these things. Never brought it up, never talks about it, never posted about it, just did it.
Yeah. I think that's how you do it. Although that's not the way anymore. I mean, think about it. Like, the amount of posting people do, the amount of like, it's just posting and boasting, man. Like, look what I fucking did. And it's all about like, I'm a great person. That's what it really comes down to, is like, social media has, the addiction of likes has really brought out the worst in us, which we've talked about a million times, but like, it's brought out the point where you're like, this is a brag sheet.
Yes, exactly. And we don't even know if you did do this or you actually do feel that way. This is just what you're putting out. This is how you want to be perceived. I don't even know if it's the old adage. I don't even know if it is old, but I might have made it up. It's like, if you do a good deed and don't post about it, did it happen?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
There's like that woman, there's that fucking viral video, that woman, that really hot white chick who just gets out of a car, takes a photo at the Black Lives Matter thing, and then just gets right back into the car. Yeah,
with the drill on the plywood. Like, that's the most telling 2020 like, this is who we are as a person summed up in one piece of shit video.
I could tell it was extra bad because I am a great empath. So I could tell.
Yeah, there you go. That's so true. Yeah, it's like the model. There was that model in Manhattan who went around with a BLM. It's like onesie on, and she looked super hot, and like all these black people were like, "Fuck you! You're not helping. Get out of here." It was great. It's so
that person just gets yes-anded every day.
I know, exactly.
If you're a model, it's just all day like, you're the shit, you're great.
Yep.
So it's like, it is funny, like with a big group, be like, no, boo, fuck off. That's the only time you can get like that. Because one-on-one, no one's gonna fucking tell that. I mean, maybe a couple people, but like,
Yeah, Chelsea Handler, do a documentary about white privilege. Great idea. That'll click. People will enjoy that.
Meanwhile, we send our specials to Netflix, and they're just like, here, let me just pour some fucking diarrhea on your fucking tape right there. Let me just dump some diarrhea on your special.
Exactly. Woo, that's good stuff. Oh yeah, you got a bit?
Let's try a bit. Fuck. Should I try one that I'm like, I can't crack? One of them I can't crack, and one of them I'm like, I just came up with. Which one should I try?
Hey, I'm down to hear both.
All right, I'm down.
All right.
Let me try the first one that I just came up with. It's like, so this woman heckled me the entire set, drunk, annoying, heckled me the entire show. And of course, afterwards slid into my DMs. and
That's
my
great
friend
already.
said, "Do not have sex with her. She doesn't deserve it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I like that you're assuming that sex with me is a reward."
Right,
Like,
right.
do you think like I've never pulled my pants down and been like, "It's your lucky day. Feel free to collect," you know?
Right,
So that's
right.
part of it. It's like, and I was thinking like there's more that's like something there. And I think there's something more about like the idea of like I get like with a joke or fucking afterwards, I get the same sound. I get a wonk wonk. Like that. That's like maybe a tag. But the first part is like I think there's some meat in the idea of like,
Definitely.
yeah, this is not a reward for like this is not good for her.
Yeah. I like
This
going
is
the other
further
way.
punishment.
That was what I was going to say. This is more of a punishment than a reward. So, like, I will fuck her because she heckled me the whole set. That's how I'll get back at her, by fucking her and, not getting her off or whatever it is, not satisfying her.
Although I don't want to give her 2 bad performances in one night.
Well, she stops interrupting. It could be good.
That's the other thing. It's like you were bad at my best. You think she's
Right.
gonna be well behaved while I'm fucking her?
Right. She's gonna be on top of you, like, you suck. You're not good at this. I'm bored.
I'm like, can someone throw her out? And I'm like, fuck, it's just me. All right.
Right. No, that's great. And also there's something to the fact she's heckling you and then wanting to fuck you. So you're like,
Damn, isn't it weird?
yeah, what the hell? You were mean to me. You were rude to me. You ruined my show. And then you're like, it was only because I liked you. It's like a kid at a schoolyard punching a girl in the shoulder. And the girl's like, what are you doing? They're like, he likes you.
That's what women do. They nag. I mean, young people do it. I think women will nag you now. I had a bit about it in one of my specials. Like it's gonna be hard to top because it was like fucking boom, boom, boom. But like there was something about, for me at least, but like there was something about there's something about like nagging. I remember talking to this girl and she was like, I feel like I'm funnier than you. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I'm just like, all right, whatever. She's like, because I feel like I'm like I feel like I'm funny. I was like, oh, okay, do you? And she was like, yeah, so far I think I am. And I'm just like, what do you think? Do you think I'm just like, this isn't Last Comic? I'm like, how do I wow her in 2 minutes? You know what I mean? Like, what do you think this is?
Right.
How unbearable would I be if I was just like, I'm on? But
yes, good point. And also, I don't know if you feel this way, but when a woman is negging me, I'm like, this is a dumb dude move. You should be better than this. You've seen idiots hit on you your whole life, and you're gonna pull the same horse shit. Like, you should know better. You're a lady. You're a woman. You guys are smarter, and you guys are, or whatever you want to call it. Like, you've been hit on more, so you should know the bad moves, and now you're doing the bad moves.
It sucks. You're totally right. I mean, it's one of the things where it's like, well, they're just shitting on you. They're just like, oh, like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, were you thinking of a joke? I'm like, no, I'm thinking of like a polite way to say that your opinion is not important to me.
Right,
and
right.
I don't care if I see you again.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to find a nice way to say, I don't care for you. I don't know. I get what do you say?
It's a tough spot. And yeah, it's hard as a comic in that way because, like, look, we're flattered. This girl's trying to talk to us. It's cool.
Right.
We'd like to talk to a lady. But when you're kind of being like, why aren't you funny now? And be funny. And you suck. I'm funnier than you. You're like, I don't know what to do here. Should I just insult you? But that's going to ruin it. It's a weird spot. I want to be nice, but you're also annoying.
It's also the second we get off stage and it's like, why don't you do your job the second you finish your job?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I don't think any other job has that.
Yeah. It's one of the things where I'm like, I'm talking to you. I'm being polite. I don't know what to do here. Yeah.
It's been 11 seconds. What do you want from me? Another act? Like, should I juggle? Come on. We're talking here.
So
we're
weird.
humans.
It's like also like you've seen our acts. We're not like fucking. We're not Jim Carrey. We're not like, but we're like fucking kind of like these are bits. We're fucking trying out observations or thoughts. We're like, and like you'll make the act. You just won't be around to see it.
That's good. And the easy joke is like, well, what do you do? And she's like, I'm a data entry. And you're like, all right, well, how about you type some, but whatever. But like, why can't I just have a moment? I still got to be funny. And like, also I am funny, but now you're putting me on the spot. It's like saying to a stripper, hey, I met a stripper at the mall after her set and she's not wiggling on a pole, like
that. That I do take issue with, actually. That I find to be no, but yeah, no, you're right, man. What do you got for a bit?
But no, that's really interesting. And I'm excited to hear how the date went, but Now this one is a little spicy, so hang with me here, folks. True story. So the whole point of the joke is I hate when you make a joke about a specific person and they think you hate the whole group. You know, like you make an OJ joke, you're like, "What are you, racist?" You're like, "I'm making fun of a murderer. You're making this a black thing." You know. So this trans woman came up to me after a show and she's like, "You suck. You're not funny. I hate your act," or whatever she said. And I was like, "Geez." So I was like, "Well, I was pissed." So I was like, "You look like a man." And of course she flips out and she's like, "You're transphobic, da da da." And I'm like, no. I just you hurt my feelings, so I knew that would hurt yours. You know, it's nothing to do with your group. And I was like, "Do you hate all comedians?" She was like, "No, just you." And I'm like, "Well, that's how I feel." And that gets a laugh. But it's true. It's like you're super. I don't hate all trans because all trans aren't as mean as you. You're fucking mean. How come you can be mean to me, but if I'm mean to you, you know, I hate the whole group.
You went straight for the thing you thought would hurt her the most.
Yes, that's it. I don't mean any ill will towards the group.
And her first line, what was her first line again? Say it again.
Like you're not good at comedy. You're not funny. Something in that world.
We both went to the first thing that we thought would hurt the other person the most.
Exactly.
I think that's the angle, is like, because that's interesting to me, where it's like, you're like, well, you identify as a woman. You're like, well, I identify as a comedian.
Yes, as a funny guy.
As a funny guy. That, to me, that's the angle, is like, we both said the shittiest thing possible.
Right. Because you can call me ugly or stupid or gay or whatever, but comedy I care about, just like you care about, you know, transitioning or whatever the fuck.
Well, you should say, she's like, you say, I put a lot of work into being a comedian. She's like, well, I put a lot of work into being a woman. You go, 15 years? Exactly.
That's great. I'm using that.
Use it.
That's great. Yeah. Have you been on on TV?
I mean, I know you're not transphobic, so I think to me it's like funny, the idea of like going after a particular person.
Yes.
I think there's more even there, is like, that's progress. When I can go after a particular person.
Yes.
And mean nothing malicious to a group. That's progress.
No, I don't care about the group. I'm worried about her. And she's worried about me. She doesn't hate she likes comedy. She just hates my act. And that's how I feel. So yeah, you're right. I went for the jugular because she went for the jugular.
Yeah.
So I'm treating her equally.
And there's some line to be had about a jugular.
Yeah, that Adam's apple could take a hike too. But yeah. So
she went for my jugular, and I looked at her jugular, looked a lot like my jugular.
We had the same jugular. Yeah.
I meant we were all one person. You make it worse.
Right. But you're right. I think it could kind of, because obviously it's a dicey bit and it's a touchy subject with the whole trans stuff, because I get they go through a lot of shit and discrimination and all that. So like, I get that is, I'm walking a tightrope here, but the point is, like you said, it's about the jugular. I'm just trying to hurt you because you hurt me. And I'm treating you just like a regular old person, not like some weird thing. That sounded bad.
Trans bits are always tricky. Like you walk that line of a groan, and then you also walk that line of like, did I get too hard of a laugh? Like, I think you know what I mean? Where you're like, they're laughing at, right? So you're kind of like, is this worth it? I think if you make this enough about you, it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're like, I remember I had a bit where something like, this one was like, oh, it's tough for like a woman like me, but it was like, she had like a beard, and I was like, but you're a guy though. It was years ago, whatever. And I didn't know as much about them. And she was like, I'm a woman. And I was like, oh, I couldn't tell. I'm sorry. And she was like, yeah, well, like you fuck. And she kind of got like really pissed at me, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, all right, I can see that you're a woman now, because you're furious at me and I have no idea why. So I can tell that you're a woman, you know?
Yeah.
And that bit would it would kill, or it would get.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? I'm butchering the setup, but you get what I'm going for.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. I'm into it, but yeah, I can see. I feel like times have changed so much that's a different joke now, almost.
Exactly. This was years ago. I also had a thing where it was like, I remember I met a woman after a show. I said tranny in a joke. It's probably like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a slur. This woman came up to me after a show and she's like, we have a trans kid. It's, show is really good. She was so cool about it. I was like, oh. She was like, yeah, it's just, it's a slur. And like, you could probably pull that joke off without saying that. And I was like, cool. Like that, you don't get like feedback like that often where they're like, hey, just a heads up, show was good. This is like, here's a little tidbit. And I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
Got it.
And we want to know too, because we don't want to sound like Bobby Slayton out there. You know, we don't want to sound like some fucking bigot or something. We'd like to get a laugh, and this goal of like offending people, I don't get. I want everybody to have a good time and get it and whatever. But like, so that's a helpful, constructive tip.
One of my favorite Bobby Slayton moments is I was listening to him on Marin, and he told this story about how like he is like talked about how he'd do this bit where like a woman would get up and go to the bathroom and he would grab the stool and sniff it. and Marin was like, yeah, I feel like a lot of comics have done that. But Bobby goes, yeah, but I was the first one to guess the year, like it was a bottle of wine.
That's hilarious. That's the part he's proud of. That's great. That's great.
Made me laugh so fucking hard.
Guess the year.
I guess the year.
Sniffing vagina is like a dying art thing. Like, remember this, the finger sniff, the panty sniff, the stool sniff. That was like a big part of comedy and humor.
It wasn't a thinking man's gag.
No, definitely not. You know, Mort Saul wasn't doing a stool sniff, but
it did make me laugh. I'm not gonna act like
funny.
That
it's fucking
that
funny.
gag is not. Yeah,
this is comedy gold. I don't care who you are. You know, you see Charlie Kaufman do that, you're laughing.
Fuck, Charlie Kaufman's such a genius.
Oh, genius guy.
I rewatched Being John Malkovich recently, and like, it's just fucking good.
You know what he's got? He's the best at, you know, when you're really high or when you're like in some kind of Zen meditative state and you're going into like these crazy chasms of your brain, you like keep going. He's got that. He can go into these crazy creative chasms and then still write it. I go in those chasms, I slip out of it and I go, whoa, what the fuck was that? He can still hold on to it.
I'm with you. I think I get scared. I think I get trapped. But
it's
something about how he goes to these, like that, some of those holes. Like also the fact that he's just like John Malkovich is just like boys with Charlie Sheen in that movie. It's so fucking random and funny. Like that
so
movie
funny.
just rules. It's just so fucking weird. But, oh man, Catherine Keener in that movie, so
sexy,
hot. So hot.
I know. I wonder what that was, because she's not hot in other things, really.
But she is though, kind of. She's just like she's a great actress, so she just knows how to like be whatever she is. She's just always amazing. I saw her on a flight once, and I just panicked because I got out of the bathroom and she was right there, and I go, "I love you."
Wow.
And she goes, "Oh my god, thank you." I was like, "Oh, you're the best." Sorry. And it's like, what?
She seems like a real.
She just seemed like a nice person.
Yeah. She seems like a real person more than like, you know, you meet, I don't know, like Carmen Electra, we mentioned her. Like, I feel like if you meet her, she's gonna be like, "Oh, geez, all right, whatever. Yeah, thank you." She probably gets it all day long, but Keener feels like a real person.
Yeah, I mean, Carmen Electra, anyone who fucked Dennis Rodman, we're like, you probably are not going to be as easy to hang with.
Yeah, you got some demons. You know? Yeah. Part Native American, by the way.
Carmen Electra?
Yeah, I feel like anytime somebody's like really hot, there's like a Native American thread in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting theory.
Oh, they're just so interesting. Look, I've been doing a deep dive on Native Americans on YouTube because I watched that new Tom Hanks movie, News of the World. It's okay. It's a little different than I thought it would be. I went in thinking this and it was that, but it's good. It's good. It's a Western type.
I heard the book is really good.
I can see the book being better because it's a lot of like, it feels like 8 different movies in one and they had to make it work. So it's heavy, but it's good.
Fuck, Tom Hanks rules, man.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the last great Western I saw was probably like the True Grit remake was solid. I thought that was a movie.
I'll tell you, 310 to Yuma's amazing.
Never saw it.
Oh, dude, you would love that. That's
the remake
Christian
or the
Bale.
original?
The remake.
Okay.
And then Tombstone is great.
Tombstone's cool. Unforgiven is great.
Unforgiven. Yeah, so there's a couple great Westerns out there. Wyatt Earp is pretty good.
Didn't see it.
Pretty good. But yeah, Native Americans, man. I think we have a weird, warped kind of perception of Native Americans.
What do you mean?
Well, first of all, everybody's like, "Oh, we wiped them out, we killed them," but it's like, yeah, that's true. But they also killed us all the time randomly. Like if you lived in Texas, it was just kind of normal that like, oh, my baby was kidnapped and my wife got shot through the head with an arrow. You're like, all right, well, we should move, or we should, like, so they were nuts, but they would also kill each other. And that's the other part no one talks about. Like we act like they were these peace loving, pipe smoking, teepee chanting, but they would kill the fuck out of each other too. So like some of them hated some of them and they would hang out with us. Like we got to watch out for those Choctaw. They're fucking wild. But we'll hang out with you, and we want you to protect us. It's pretty interesting.
This podcast took a turn, man.
Well, I got no beef with them. I'm just saying it was a wild time.
For sure. Dude, we got to do a Patreon too. Should we wrap up?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're going long here.
We're going long, but I can talk to you for.
All right. I've been drinking here. Yeah. Let's do a Patreon.
This is a fucking banger. Well, remember to subscribe on our Patreon as well, which is just patreon.com/WeMightBeDrunkPod. Follow our new Instagram at We Might Be Drunk. Follow both of us on all the socials and shit.
Yes.
Watch our specials. I'm in Jersey this weekend. Stress Factory, February 4th through 6th. Mark, what do you got going on, man?
I'm doing a Soul Joel coming up. If you haven't been out
nice.
to Royersford, PA, it's one of the better outdoor situations going.
It's great.
Yeah, really fun. I got some good nights coming up in Raleigh. That's in a few. Funny Bone in Dayton. So if you're in the Syracuse Funny Bone, ooh, that's gonna hurt. Albany Funny Bone. I'm doing a whole Funny Bone run. What's that?
It's gonna hurt your soul.
I know. I'm not looking forward to it. So good people, come out. We gotta drown out the fucking weirdos and pillheads.
We're grateful for it, and we're grateful for all the listeners to this. I feel like this is like new, but people are listening, people are liking, and that's great.
Yeah, it's hitting a nerve, and there's a lot of drunks out there, and a lot of ex-drunks, and we love you all. And keep drinking, keep listening, tell a friend, get on the Patreon.
And email us live it up. At One More Drink with Mark and Sam at Gmail. Because and remember to label which one you're throwing us, a wreck, a pet peeve, a joke, whatever. But man, I'm loving these, so we really appreciate you.
And follow the Instagram.
Cool, man.
All right,
thanks for listening.
Thank you.